Hello everyone, my name is EunJeong Cheon and I am from Syracuse University. I am so excited to present the paper, Robots as a Place for Socializing. This work was done in collaboration with Eike, Kristina, and Mikael. Jonathan Grudin, the author of a CSCW seminar paper, Why CSCW Applications Fail, said in the interview in 2015. The sources of trouble I described back then mostly arose from insufficient understanding of organizational processes and team processes, and I thought we would quickly overcome them. We don't understand the nuances, activities we're hoping to support. So we do still encounter some of the same problems in this new context. In this work, we looked at the nuanced activities and social interactions around cobots in manufacturing companies and how collaborative robots may engage in broader interactions beyond the robot operator interaction. Collaborative robot, what we focus in this study, is a specialized type of industrial robot. Cobot is a robot for direct physical interaction with a human user within a shared workspace. As you see these two pictures in the slide, a cobot visually seems similar to classical industrial robots, but cobots have the ability to share the workspace with human workers without safety fence. In this paper, we investigate social and organizational dynamics brought by cobots at the workspace. To understand how introducing and deploying cobots may affect broader interactions between different levels of employees across the organization, we conducted ethnographic fieldwork in a Danish manufacturing company starting in February 2021. Company A is a large production company, over 2,000 employees. The company started in 2009 to invest heavily in automation using industrial robots. In this time at the company, a collaborative cell was built in production and operators began working with collaborative robots for the first time. Throughout this implementation process, we visited the company 2 or 3 times a week for 3 months to observe and conduct interviews. We conducted 14 interviews with 6 operators, and all interviews were conducted on the shop floor or in the cell. We observed that the interaction of the cobot and other employees varied depending on the spatial setup in or outside the cobot cell. Today, I share only some of the findings. The introduction of cobot led to a rearrangement in spatial configuration from pipeline to circular production cell. The new production cell was organized in 4 quadrants, Q1 to Q4, with the 2 cobots implemented in Q3 and Q4 as illustrated in this bottom figure. The number of human workers were reduced from 4 to 3. Even though the pipeline had more workers, the distribution of the workers did not allow for easy communication. The new circular production cell decreased the maximum distance between workers to just a few meters, making both visual and auditory interaction significantly easier. With the decrease in colleagues in the same cobot cell, it is now more important than ever to work with colleagues who share similar work ethics and chemistry. Another finding I'd like to highlight in this talk is about the interactions outside the production cell. To handle robots' technical issues, The company had external technician, here called RoboBody, stationed on site during its regular business hours. While the operators are now closely working with the RoboBodies, they have noticed a decrease in their supervisors' engagement and hope to receive more their attention to operators' work. The operators' relationship with their supervisors reflected the operator's description of two workspaces, production cell and the desk office. As you see this picture, the office space was located on the same floor and just a few meters away from the production cell behind a glass wall. The operators use phrases like going up or they come down to us during the interviews. The desk office space feels inaccessible to our operators, demonstrating their perceived distance from the office workers. In this talk, I'm going to briefly talk about the first two discussion sections in the paper. Contrasting with previous studies, our findings show that robot interaction does not always have to result in a decrease in social interaction. The introduction of the cobot reshaped the production line to a circular pattern instead of a long pipeline. This brought operators closer together, resulting in better opportunity for social interaction. In previous studies, individual physical distance from robots or time spent around robots have been mainly used to measure people's engagement with robots. In this study, however, the social interaction with other co-workers reveal the extent of their engagement. Existing work on boundaries in organization studies emphasize that different professions often use boundaries to draw distinction between themselves and others, create status inequality, and cooperate with or even blindside other groups in their practices. Researchers in organization studies highlighted that boundaries are relational. To articulate the characteristic of boundaries, Barrett and other colleagues classified three different kinds of boundary relations: boundary cooperation, boundary neglect, and boundary strain. In our study, we also found that through the adoption of cobots, the operators and other group of employees restructured various critical boundaries. We detailed the social interaction and dynamics that the different groups of employees create to improve their work practices. Specifically, we show how they worked out the unevenly distributed knowledge of cobot across the companies. As CSCW researchers, we would need to consider how to facilitate cooperation while impeding neglect and strain imposed by the subtle influences of robot in the workspace. While previous work has emphasized how robots can mediate social and group dynamics by changing people's attitude and behaviors in a group, our study focused on how robots became an occasion for social interaction rather than played a direct role in the dynamics among people. Please check out our paper for other findings and implications. Thanks for listening. If you have any question or are interested in any potential future collaboration, please reach out to me. Thank you.